Greetings, and welcome back to Stellaris, my Commonwealth of Man playthrough. It's time for the 2300 State of the Commonwealth. So we are currently embroiled in a war against the Allied independent systems to turn the hegemony of Ubaria into our vassal. That will leave the Uthabulan Allied clans, the Glostwarhenian Galactic Hierarchy, and their vassal in the alliance. But we will have ripped another member out. I believe this was the founding member. And the war is going fairly well. We have occupation of the majority of their territory. They have had their fleet start popping back up and are attempting to retake areas, but we are close to settling a status quo which would rip them out of the and make them into our vassal. We haven't made much progress in the actual score rankings. Our technology level is still about half or a third of most of the higher rankings. But we are slowly making progress to improve our technology. As a matter of fact, we should get 3 more techs just this year. We're still about 7.5 years away from another tradition. And we are slowly losing ground, actually, on diplomatic weight. But as my fleet gains strength and my economy improves, we should start working up in the ranks, especially once I start getting some further bonuses and some additional envoys that I can actually spare into the galactic community. As for our actual colonies, we are going to stay fairly small. I think this is about the size we are going to keep. I just need to expand my star bases to improve my naval size and improve the colonies we do have. We are in the process of terraforming the last few worlds. Apart from this one tomb world, we do not have the technology to terraform yet. But we are in the process of terraforming a lot of these worlds and will eventually start colonizing them. I could start another colony now. Well, this one is tidally locked, and I'm curious, and it also would be a good place for energy. So yeah, let's start with colonizing Lithium 5A as Hawksworth. Now that will probably be built here at Safe. Yes. Unity is still our empire capital. There's a little room still for improvement here. As my food had been dwindling, I had been shifting over the generator districts to agriculture. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do another one. We have not been expanding the research labs, mainly because we don't have the humans growing. We need to work them. I primarily am having slaves grow. I may, after this oxen litter is grown in April, I will probably start forcing this to grow humans again so I can start expanding Unity. But it does have a little bit of administration, but it is primarily a research lab. I have also started running an anti-crime campaign because crime was getting a little high. And we are doing artifact exhibitions. This is also the world where the Memorex is placed that adds more resources from jobs. Flaxington, our first colony, where we have the enslaved Nemas and the cave shroom spores that we are turning into exotic gases. Likewise is running an anti-crime campaign to keep the crime level down. It is a mining world and a research world. It is actually growing humans. As this human gets closer to being grown, I will expand a building here. It takes about a year, actually less than a year, I think, for a research lab. Yeah, 11 months. So when this gets close to 11 months, I can build another research lab to expand our research. Dawnlight, our third colony, is a factory world with mining districts. There aren't a whole lot of mining districts here. At a later date, I may switch this to agriculture when we get sufficient mining off-world or from our subjects. It is primarily concerned with keeping my consumer goods up, and I'm forced the growing of humans here. As they grow, I'm expanding the industrial zone and providing more and more artisan jobs as we go along. St. Natchbull, the first primitive civilization we overtook, is the homeworld of the Farine. It is a tropical world. It is also a factory world, and it has a small amount of generator districts. Eventually, I will move those into further industry. It is growing freely, Farine, and as I get surplus Farine, we already have some working as servants. As I get surplus, I move them off to worlds that need amenities as clerks or servants. Leffingwell, the second primitive civilization we took over, is the home of the Oxenlitters. They are our battle thralls, and this world has several fortresses on it, helping provide our naval capacity. Has a small amount of agriculture that will eventually be shifted into industry when I no longer need the agriculture on this world. It is a forge world, and Oxenlitters are growing here freely. We don't really need oxen litters, so most of them are being sold on the slave market as they are grown. Doran is the third primitive civilization we took over, the home of the Iknerval. It is a generator world with the majority of my administration. We will be expanding the administration. I'm waiting until I get an extra human at least to be able to shift over here. Otherwise, it's going to pull them from being culture workers. But it is growing Iknerval. I do have several new worlds that do need them as the workers. And it is also running an anti-crime campaign and an artifact exhibition. Citadel is this lone system over here we are eventually going to spin off into a Stellarium vassal. It is currently upgrading the planetary capital, and I've got it as just a mix, and it is pure humans. And I'm just basically trying to get it situated to where it is fairly self-sufficient. So right now it needs more mineral input. 5 miners would provide another 35. That would still leave it at a small deficit, but I believe there is a 10 base for being a empire that would compensate for that. But they are going to have a hard time having a decent supply of minerals. As long as they can keep a decent supply of energy credits, they should be fine. We will be subsidizing them a little bit anyway, as they are a Stellarium. But it is purely humans as the population, and is just slowly growing them. It is also running an artifact exhibition because it has a small amount of administration. Proclos is the former homeworld of the First League, and we are using it as a research world primarily, but we also do have mining districts and some strategic resource gathering. I will eventually be shifting these off for additional research as I am able to build mote harvesting and crystal mines on other worlds. For now, we will be keeping the mining districts. Might eventually switch this to a generator world when it is no longer producing strategic resources. As it expands, I build additional mining districts, and of course it shifts the occasional Farine down here, so after all the Farine are replaced, and the Oxenlitters, when I would grow an Iknerval and they do not have an available job is when I will add an additional mining district. Fincastle is one of our newer colonies. Haven't performed Mastery of Nature on this one yet. It's going to be a generator world for now while it's developing. Eventually I will shift it over to a forge world, I believe, or a factory world, one of the two. It does have a gas extraction I can expand on this world as it develops. Earth 2 is one of our newer colonies. All of these are from terraformed previous world types. This world is our second home. It bears an uncanny resemblance to Earth. Eventually, this one, being a size 25 as opposed to Unity's size 20, may become our new capital. It's being developed right now as a mining world. Mendos is another terraformed world. It is being developed currently as an agricultural world. Though the districts are rather small, it will not remain an agricultural world later on. It will become, I believe this one will become the Forge world, while Fincastle becomes a factory world. And that is currently all of our existing colonies. We do have several other worlds that we can colonize eventually. We have 2 down here in the Earth 2 and the Leffingwell sectors, and 3 up here in the Unity sector, in addition to which we just Illithium, where we are just now sending a colony ship. So we have 6 more colonies that are going to be popping up, and eventually we will be able to colonize this tomb world. I could send people here now, but I would rather wait until it's terraformed, because the habitability would really put a drain on our economy. Our economy is fairly solvent right now, mainly from subject taxes and occupation, because we are getting a little bit of the resources as we occupy these territories. These numbers will drop significantly once this war is over. But that is the state of the Commonwealth. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time.